a happy New Year's Rockin' Eve live from Times Square, New York City. This is our 8th year in a row we've been broadcasting, and it's a big year this year. The 75th annual celebration that all started in 1904 right here in Times Square. And our live ABC cameras are here at number 1 Times Square. We're on the 17th floor. The big ball is on the 24th floor, and it'll fall at midnight, and we'll follow all of that activity from our cameras from the Criterion Center, where they're building a brand new $10 million center with the world's largest disco, 5 movie theaters, a couple of restaurants, all sorts of retail stores, and down below, there's at least 250,000 happy people gathered. The biggest crowd we've ever seen here for New Year's Eve. It's warm in New York. It's about 38, 39 degrees. They're all waiting for the big ball to fall, and you'll see it happen right here live on ABC's New Year's Rockin' Eve, the biggest New Year's Eve party of the year and of the decade. Right now, we're going to take you to Hollywood for the big celebration. Well, it's 39 degrees and it's mild in New York, and we're looking north from 44th Street all the way up to 48th Street. The crowd is jammed in, and 1979 was a year of contrast. The Ayatollah Khomeini and Pope John Paul II, Miss Piggy and Bo Derek. 2 things came back, Skylab and the 1974 gas lines. And we'll be coming back to check the live activity here in Times Square all the way. You know, hearing Chic and Good Times reminds me that they're celebrating good times out there in Times Square. In all of the years we've been doing New Year's Rockin' Eve, and I've been here live in Times Square, I've never seen a crowd arrive so early and so happy. Part of that is due, I guess, to the fact that it's 38, 39 degrees. It's mild. They're in anticipation of a very, very special New Year's occasion as the 70s go by. And I guess the 70s were remembered for good times. You'll remember back in 1970, that was the year of MASH and the Jackson 5. And 1971, Hot Pants and the birth of Archie Bunker. 1972 was Mark Spitz and the Godfather. 73 was Stevie Wonder and Hot Tubs. Streakers and Hank Aaron came along in 1974. In 75, it was Jaws. Barry Manilow made his television debut on American Bandstand that year. It doesn't seem possible. It was 5 years ago. And these people are out there to remember. 76 was CB Radios and Disco. 1977 brought King Tut and Saturday Night Fever. 78, the Yankees beat the Dodgers, and the Bee Gees broke every record in sight. 1979, who knows what it'll be. It'll be roller skating and slit skirts for the ladies. And in just a little more than 15 minutes from now, you and I are going to watch that ball drop live here from Times Square. And the signal will be given by a lady from Sherman Oaks, California, whose husband at this moment is a hostage in Iran. Deborah Plotkin will signal the dropping of the ball, and we'll show it to you here on ABC. So hang in there. It's all happening in Times Square on New Year's Rockin' Eve. Well, Aaron and John, the final countdown will take place in just about 8 minutes here, live from Times Square as ABC's New Year's Rockin' Eve rocks along, and those people out there are just waiting. If there were a roof, they would tear it off tonight because they've been waiting for the longest. Earliest crowd I've ever seen arrive here in Times Square happened tonight, mainly, I suppose, because of the warm weather. And they're gathered all the way up, way beyond 47th, 48th Street, all the way down below us here at 1 Times Square, which is right on 42nd Street. So it's a massive crowd tonight, the biggest one we've ever seen, and they're waiting for the ball to drop. You'll see it happen here live on ABC. So don't you dare go away. It's just about 7, 8 minutes away, as you can see by the digital clock there. And when that happens, you will hear the wildest screaming, yelling jamboree ever in your life. You can begin to listen to that crowd. They know, they can tell. It's only about 38 degrees down there, and they're warming up to it. They got their signs and their hats and their banners. Now slowly, sort of a crude system, but it's beginning to descend. 2 workmen up there under the direction of Mr. Alex Parker, who owns this wonderful building, the former Times Tower. And this has become a New Year's tradition for the last 75 years. First year they exploded dynamite here. Not quite that fast and furious now, but in a moment, the 1980s will be arriving. There's the digital clock. You can watch it as we count it down now. And lo and behold, that's the big signal for the crowd here. Slowly but surely, the 1970s are disappearing. The 1980s will be upon us. What a decade it is coming up. Look at that crowd. They can hardly wait. You're going to hear a sound of cheering and yelling in a minute like you haven't heard in years. Biggest crowd of the last 10 years is here tonight live in Times Square. Getting closer now. Less than 20 seconds coming up. Keep your eye on the digital clock on the left. When the ball reaches the bottom of the staff, that crowd is going to go crazy. Happy New